Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Answers for the Family with Alan Cardoza, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Greetings to all of you listening around the world, and a warm welcome as we bring you another edition of the Answers for the Family radio show. I'm your host, Alan Cardoza, and if you're a regular listener, thank you for joining us once again. If this is your first time, please make yourself at home as we bring you Answers for the Family. Now, each week, this show will address issues such as locating a runaway teen, family crisis intervention, building self-esteem, dealing with addictions, lasting health, and so much more. Now, having over 30 years' experience working with families in crisis, I've been fortunate to meet and work with some of the top professionals in many of the helping fields and skilled authors who are working to make this world a better place for all of us. Now, you can all do me a big favor. Please check out some of our past shows at AnswersForTheFamily.com to hear some informative and entertaining guests, as well as some dynamic co-hosts. And they're going to discuss ways that you and your loved ones can become happier, healthier, and more at peace. Now, I'm also looking for some show ambassadors who will forward at least one of our shows to your social media group and or someone you know who can benefit from a particular subject. I want you to know that I truly appreciate it, and this is just another way that we can make a positive difference in the lives of others. So, as many of you are now getting to know, with me as my guest co-host is Gabriella Von Ray. She's the founder of the Dare to Be Kind movement, and she's been on the road filming since November. Now, she is interviewing nonprofit associations, people from all walks of life who have taken up the Dare to Be Kind challenge. Now, that challenge is one act of kindness in a 2-mile radius. Everybody can do that. Think about it. It's not asking a lot. And this is to highlight to everyone how kindness begins right in your own neighborhood. So, my question to her is, where in the world is Gabriella?
Hi, Alan, and thank you for having me again on as a guest co-host. It's always a pleasure. Well, I didn't make it as far as I had hoped. I had hoped to be closer to Minnesota, but I'm at the border between Iowa and Wisconsin because due to snow and scraping my car last night, I said, okay, I'm going to stop here because I am not that good a driver in the snow. I got to admit that. So safety before the journey, I guess.
Well, and for those people out there, we're moving in different directions. We're kind of doing simulcasts. Right now, you can go to the LA Talk Radio Facebook page, and we're doing Facebook Live, and we're often also doing the Facebook Live on Gabriella's page. So there's a lot of ways in which you can get this information. In fact, I had talked with our guest, and I believe he is now maybe having his people on Facebook check this out also. So pass the word that there's many different ways. Sometimes Gabriella is going to be driving in her car. So we're going to be getting her behind the steering wheel, answering questions or asking questions of our many guests. So the other thing I want to encourage everybody, again, I've mentioned this before, but visit Gabriella's Indiegogo page, and you can show your support, for what it is that she's doing. And in fact, I already have, so I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I haven't done, but you can get the exact link through going by AnswersForTheFamily.com if you go to our site, or you can just go to Indiegogo.com and type in Dare to Be Kind in the search bar, and it will be the first project that comes up. So there's many ways in which we can all be kind.
And we only have 2 weeks left on Indiegogo, guys. 2 weeks. That's it.
Okay, so go out there, check it out. This is one of the ways in which all of us can make a positive difference in the lives of others. So, Gabriella, share with us just a little bit about kind of the next couple of steps before we bring on our guest.
Well, what is so amazing is ever since I started, it is the people that you meet on the road that are the stories that you hear. It is so heartwarming that there are so many like-minded people that actually are a positive influence on kindness and that would really love to ignore all the negativity that they hear around them. So that was something that I was so glad to see everywhere, literally from Flint, Michigan to where was I? Oklahoma, Phoenix, Nashville. I thought of all these places where people just say, yeah, no, we want kindness. How do we do it, Gabriella? And then I gave them simple tasks about a 2-mile radius and how we could get there. But I mentioned on purpose Flint, Michigan, because I just wanted you to know, you all know Flint because of the water. They're doing well. And what is even more heartwarming is that they say that they volunteer for each other and help each other through volunteering because they say that they know what it's like to suffer. And that really touched a heartstring for me, that volunteerism is alive and happening in the state of Michigan.
And all over the world. And that's the thing.
All over.
Yeah. And the thing is that mainstream media is not picking that up. They're not going out there and going, you know what, let's do a show and show how these people are helping each other through the crisis. You know, I've been staying out in Malibu, and we've been out there helping people that have dealt with the fires. Now today, even just getting in here, I had to take different routes to stay away from a mudslide or to stay away from a rock slide. I got held up on that. But at the same time, the people that I'm seeing out there, they're banding together and they're doing things to help. You know,
Absolutely.
You know, that's the message that we need to be sending to everybody, that, you know, people do care, people want to be kind, and it's something that we can all do for each other.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's there. We want it, and we're going to bring it every single week. I'm going to bring through your show to one kindness place that I've been that just is doing great things. So thank you, Alan.
You're welcome. And, you know, the other thing about being kind is being kind to yourself. And, you know, I was at a retreat and I met our guest, and I was so impressed. I just said, how can I help get the word out for the message that you're putting out there? And, you know, some of the things that I learned just from being in his retreat, and one of the things that was said was, it says, you know, Hippocrates proclaimed that everyone has a doctor in them. We just have to help it work. Just help that doctor inside of you work. Meaning part of this is on us. So a little bit in regards to our guest. So he's a lifestyle-focused and preventative medicine physician. So our guest is Elson Haas, and he encourages his patients to find that inner source of healing. And he looks to inspire us to protect our own health, protect and honor our bodies, and discover that our health is mostly a result of how we live and is much more in our hands than we realize. So he's the founder director of the Preventative Medical Center of Marin. Dr. Haas is an integrative family physician with more than 40 years of experience in patient care. And a pioneer in healthcare, he developed an integrative approach to healing that incorporates natural, Eastern, and Western medical approaches and what he calls new medicine. So he has written and produced health information and offered courses for adults and children, lectured as a health professor, and has authored 11 books on health, nutrition, and detoxification, including Staying Healthy with Nutrition, The Detox Diet, The False Fat Diet, Ultimate Immunity, and the classic Staying Healthy with the Seasons. His most recent book is Staying Healthy with New Medicine, integrating natural, Eastern, and Western approaches for optimal health. Elson, welcome to Answers for the Family.
Alan, thank you for having me on. I'm so glad to talk to you and your audience.
Well, I'm excited to have you on, and I want to let our listeners know that are just listening and didn't get a press release or something that shows a picture of Elson, because if you saw a picture, you would see a picture of health. So I won't go into anything in regards to, you can choose to tell people how old you are or anything else, but I know that mentally and physically, I was impressed with the fact that you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk too. So
thank you.
And
well,
it's
good.
noticeable.
And from Gabriella, I grew up in Michigan, so I know about the Flint and the wonderful nature of the Michiganders. And two, kindness is one of the things that I really teach in my practice and to patients. It's just like, I'm a big fan of Ellen DeGeneres in your area, that she ends her show with be kind to one another. And, I don't find that that's common in the medical profession. And, one of my topics in New Medicine book is the doctor-patient relationship. And, kindness is not always there with, the office, with the office staff or the doctors or the hospitals or things like that. So it's really, to me, that's really important because the gentleness and the connection and reaching people is really part of the beginning process of healing, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Elson, share a little bit about what that picture is, because I know that, again, I have the benefit of having been in your seminar and heard you speak. Share your vision of what the hospital-patient relationship should be.
Well, the doctor-patient relationship, really, for any practitioner, is obviously you want to see people who have a similar belief system. If you're into natural healing and you go to a doctor who says, supplements are stupid, you're wasting your money, or the idea that detoxification, the doctors condemn it because they don't know what it even means or do they have any experience in it. So one of the common things I see with patients is that, a doctor said this to me and it's still, it's hard to get it out of my brain, out of my system. So a shared belief system, respect. I do my best to run on time, so I'm not having people I don't even call it a waiting room in my office. I call it the reception area, because I don't want people to have to wait a long time, even though a lot of people choose to come in. I have good magazines and my books out, so people come in and like to hang out, because I also have a wonderful staff who practices kindness. And I still practice. You mentioned I am 71, and I'm still practicing because I like it. The only reason I do is because I require and love that healthcare is fun and educational. So to me, helping people grow and change their lifestyle, because as you mentioned in your intro, it's like much of our health is up to us. We have one and only body we're given. And when we treat it kindly and we develop an improved attitude toward caring for the body that we have, the results are often great. People can change their health outcomes by looking at, what I call the 5 keys to staying healthy, which I have a free course on my website as well to go through, good nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management, and developing a healthy attitude. And that's an attitude toward your life, toward your body, and that's what I experienced back 40 some years ago when I did my first juice cleanse and started to feel great and dropped weight and my allergies cleared. I said, wow, this is how I want to feel. I got to start treating my body with love, because it matters what I do. It matters what I put into my mouth. And so that was a change for me, a big metamorphosis that I think has helped my health, over these last 40-some years. If I had continued eating the American diet and living in my family's lifestyle that, from growing up in the 50s, I don't think I would be in this state of health. I'd be on medicines if I was still alive even, Mm-hmm. So I think it matters. And I see this even, I see that in teenagers and I see it in 75-year-olds, that you make some changes in your health, you're going to get some better outcomes.
What inspired you to try the more alternative methods to helping your patients? Because I can imagine that, once you got inspired, it still takes something of a practice to then do it on all your patients. So what made you do that all of a sudden?
Oh, it wasn't all of a sudden. I mean, I was in med school from 68 to 72, and as I quote Bob Dylan, the times they were changing. People were, a little bit rebellious. I was kind of standing up a little bit against the patriarchal, drug-oriented approach to healthcare, and kind of the